Hello students, welcome to the lecture on product management. And after the lecture, we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the concept of product, describe the levels of products, understand the classification of products, describe the consumer goods classification. Let us start with a brief introduction to product management. The product is a good, service, person, place, events or organizations offered to consumers to satisfy his need or want. A good is a tangible product which can be seen and touched. These tangible items can be produced in bulk and inventoried. For example, switches from Bajaj Electricals are goods. A service is an intangible product which requires simultaneous consumption and production. These are also perishable in nature. For example, a Walcott hospital offers heart surgery, which consumers cannot see but need to undergo when there is a pain in the heart. Hence, surgery, a service, is perishable in nature, need to be produced and consumed simultaneously. Product development is the process of designing, building, operating and maintaining a good or service. Software and internet companies use a product development process to ensure that they are not just manufacturing a technology, but creating a product that people will want to buy and continue to use. To be sure, a base technology is at the heart of the product, but product development ensures that the customer's voice is not lost in the rush to an exciting technology. Product development adds things like pricing, marketing and customer support to the technology to create a complete product. Without a product management, philosophy and discipline, an IT organization becomes focused on the technology instead of the customers and is often organized along technological lines rather than in ways that benefit the customer.
What is product management? Essentially, it's just a term that says supply chain and distribution channel. This goes into anything that any person wants to create and sell on the market. And what does this really mean? Let's talk about a product that a lot of us use on an almost daily basis. Well, maybe not daily, but let's talk about beer. So we like enjoying a beer at the end of a day and sitting on a terrace. Summertime's coming up in Montreal. But what really goes behind a beer? And when somebody puts a beer in front of you, what's all the product management that goes into it? Now, whenever you create a product, you also have to think about the supply chain. And this is really just saying all the raw materials that go into creating your product. For example, if you're using a cell phone, you have to think about the person mining for the metal components, the person who's developing the technology, the hardware, the factory worker who puts it all together, the one who puts it in a box, the marketing person, and so on. In beer, the example we're using, it's all about raw ingredients. So you need your malt, you need your yeast, you need your wheat, and you need your different ingredients for flavoring and whatnot. And this all sounds relatively easy. You just mix it all together in a batch, but there's everything that goes behind it. So you have to actually consider in your pricing, in your product, in your day-to-day operations, all the factors that go into the development of your product. For beer, you need to order a lot of malt and barley. And although it seems like you just pick up the phone and order some more malt or barley, this can fluctuate based on good crops, what the price of malt and barley is on the world market, commodity prices, and this all changes things. So you have to monitor that pretty carefully. And you also have to ensure that whenever you need more malt or barley, you can just pick up the phone and there's trusted suppliers who will make sure it comes to you. If you can't ensure that steady flow of ingredients, you can't make your product. And that means your operations come to a standstill. So you always have to think about all the factors that go into making it. Even if you're doing something as simple as reselling someone else's product. I know someone who sells promotional merchandise. And not a lot of people know this, but when there was the Fukushima reactor disaster in Japan, the price of USB keys went up on average $2 to $3 a unit. And this was because the majority of the components that go into USB keys are made right near the facility in Japan. And operations came to a standstill. People couldn't get new components to make their USB keys, and the price went up. And the entire market and all the suppliers and all the promotional people who wanted to distribute, and because the demand kept going, had to find a way to adapt. And you have to think about these things whenever you're planning on building a product, no matter what it is. Now, once you have your product and it's all put together, and you've got a beer in a bottle, packaged, labeled, ready to go, you now have to think about getting it to people. Actually, on the way over here, I saw one of the greatest examples of this is that a Budweiser delivery truck who was in front of Cafe Campus, and they had to deliver their beer. But if anyone has ever been to Cafe Campus, they know this. There's 4 or 5 flights of stairs before you get up to the top bar. So instead of having their delivery guy climb those stairs with their entire beer order, they actually have a truck, a semi, with a crane on it that lifts a giant cargo container up to the top window and delivers it in. These are the types of problems you have to solve. If you're going to be delivering a product, you have to think about how to transport it. Does it need to go across state lines? Is it just down the street? What size truck do you need? How many delivery staff do you need? And essentially all the questions that go behind how are you getting that product to the point of sale or directly to the consumer? You got to ask yourself, and you have to plan that in and put it into your cost structure, into your operations management. Logistics are just as important in product management and product development as a lot of other things, because if you have a great product that everybody likes and that everybody wants, it's completely meaningless if it's sitting there in your warehouse not going anywhere. So when you're talking about putting together a company and you have a product to deliver, whether it's real or virtual, think about everything that needs to go into it. All the problems that can come up in delivering your product. Recently, we saw that a bunch of websites got hacked. And so this is something you even think about when you're creating websites. What are the potential problems that can come in? Who can hack a server, and how will this affect my clients in the future? It's all part of managing your product, but also managing your clients and ensuring that you can continue a steady stream of making sure that you can continue a steady flow of your product to the public so that you can keep making revenue. Remember, you have to always continue to make money. And so even if you're having problems on the supplier end, the end consumer doesn't care about that. They want your product now, or they're going to go to somebody else. So when you're doing your product, make sure you have a supplier, make sure you have a backup supplier, make sure you have a distribution channel and a backup to your distribution channel, because it's all about getting your product to the consumer.
Let us now find out the concept of product. In a narrow sense, a product is a set of tangible physical attributes assembled in an identifiable form. Each product carries a name, such as car, iron, building, etc. But in marketing, a product is anything which can satisfy a need, want, or desire of consumers and can be offered in an exchange process. Hence, a product can be a commodity, service, an idea, or a combination of all these. A commodity is a tangible object such as watch. A service is an intangible which provides benefits and satisfaction to the user, such as health service or doctors or nurses service. An idea is a philosophy or concept such as stop smoking, use seatbelt while driving, suggestion for doing physical exercises, etc. When buyers purchase a product, they decide to buy after considering both tangible and intangible attributes of the product. According to W. Anderson, a product is anything that can be offered to a market for attention, acquisition, use, or consumption that might satisfy a want or a need. It includes physical objectives, services, persons, places, organizations, and ideas. According to Philip Kotler, the product concept is a management orientation that assumes that consumer will favor those products that offer the most quality and other features for the price, and therefore should effort for continuous improvement of product quality and other features of product. The implicit premises of the product concept are: consumers buy products rather than solutions to needs. Consumers are primarily interested in product quality and other features. Consumers know the quality and feature differences of the competing brands. The organization's task is to keep improving product quality and other features as the key to attracting and holding customers. From the above explanation, you have come to know that the word product in marketing has a much wider meaning. Attributes of a product. Some of the essential features can be identified as tangibility. To be a product, it should have a tangibility character, such as it can be touched or it can be seen, for example, car, building, cloth, etc. Intangible attributes. The product may also be intangible in the form of services, for instance, like banking, insurance, music, composition, repairing, nursing, etc. Associated attributes. A product may have number of features which differentiate it from competitors' products. Associated attributes usually cover the color, the package, the brand name, the installation instruction, etc. The exchange value. A product may be tangible or intangible, but it must have exchange value. It must be capable of being exchanged between seller and the buyer at a mutual agreed price. The consumer satisfaction. A product should have the capacity to satisfy the consumer's real or psychological needs and wants. At the same time, it must have the capacity to generate profit for the satisfaction of sellers. Moving on further, let's study the levels of products. The concept of 5 levels of a product actually comes in play when one is finalizing a product for business or when he wants to analyze a product. Just like any business, a product too has its hierarchy. A product can be divided into a series of different features and benefits which helps in its segmentation, targeting and its positioning. Thus, the 5 levels of the products are the ones which help to define the product in a better manner. These 5 levels are the core benefit. It is the most fundamental level of a product, the fundamental service or benefit that the customer is really buying. Example, hotel. The night guest is buying rest and sleep. Movies, customers is buying entertainment. A generic product. It is a basic version of the product. Example, hotel. It consists of rooms to rent, etc. Then the expected product. It is a set of attributes and conditions that buyers normally expect and agree to when they purchase the product. Example, a hotel. Guests expect a clean bed, soap and towel in the bathroom, a telephone and a closet, etc. Augmented product. One that includes additional services and benefits that distinguish the company's offer from the competitor's offer. Example, in a hotel, television set, shampoo, fresh flowers, rapid check-in, express checkout, fine dining, room service, etc. Potential product. All the augmentations and the transformation that this product may ultimately undergo in the future. Now, let's study the classification of products. The influx of the wide range of consumables into the market has provided a corresponding wide range of choices to the consumers. The competitive nature of the marketplace has therefore become a significant factor that producers can only ignore to their own peril. The purchasing power of the consumer is also affected by the economy of the nation. It is as a result of those factors that manufacturers must of necessity know the product category to which their products belong. The hostility in the marketing environment suggests that the producers have no option other than to employ aggressive marketing drive in order to survive competition in the face of the declining purchasing power of the consumers. It is in the light of this that product classification becomes one of the most potent techniques for determining the survival or the extinction of products in the hands of the producers. Consumers at times may want to minimize the shopping time. The implication of the buying behavior on the part of the producer is that the retail outlet should be minimized for the products. There are other cases of products in which the consumer already has a brand in mind. The special purchasing effort is just to know where it is on sales. Producers will do well to ensure that such products retain the quality the consumers want. Since price of the items are secondary to the consumers, producers can afford to jack up the price so as to obtain some level of margin of profit. Product classification can therefore be done on the basis of durability and tangibility, the rate of consumption, buying behavior, and so on. Relationship of goods to the organization's production process and caste structure. Meaning of product classification. A product is something that is produced by a machine or by human. The organization of goods or services according to some exhibited characteristic or set of characteristics. Most manufacturers will use an informal product classification method of their own design, although most standardized methods of product classification devised by various industry organizations also exist. Marketers have traditionally classified products on the basis of characteristics, durability, tangibility, and use, consumer or industrial. Each product type has an appropriate marketing mix strategy. Goods are physical, tangible product, so it can be seen, felt, touched, held, stored, transferred, and other physical treatments. Judging by the aspect of sustainability, there are two kinds of products, namely goods not of long duration. Non-durable goods. Perishable goods are tangible goods that are normally consumed in one or few hours of use. In other words, the economic age in normal usage within 1 year. Examples are soap, beverages and snacks, chalk, sugar and salt. Therefore, this type of goods consumed rapidly in a short period of time and frequency of purchase is often the case, then the best strategy is to make them available in many locations, apply the small increase and is strongly advertising to encourage people to try and simultaneously to form a preference. Long-lasting merchandise goods or durable goods. Durable goods are tangible goods that normally survive very long in use, economic era for normal use for 1 year or more. Examples include TV, fridge, car, computer, and others. In general, these type of goods require personal selling and service more than perishable goods, offering greater benefits and need a guarantee or a warranty from the retailer specific. Services. Services are activities, benefits, or satisfaction for sale. For example, a beauty salon, courses, hotels, schools, and others. Durability and tangibility. Products can be classified into three groups according to the durability and the tangibility. Non-durable goods are tangible goods normally consumed in one of few uses, like beer and soap. Because these goods are consumed quickly and purchased frequently, the appropriate strategy is to make them available in many locations, charge only a small markup, and advertise heavily to induce trial and build preference. Non-durable goods are any type of manufactured items that are not intended to last for an extended length of time. While there is some difference of opinion on how long a good can last and still be classified as non-durable, the general consensus is that any good that is not intended to last any longer than 3 years doesn't fall into this category. Under the broad scope of non-durable goods, there are subclasses such as perishable goods, semi-durable goods, and soft goods. Within the non-durable goods family, soft goods include most textile products. Clothing, bedding, towels, and similar items are generally considered to have a useful life of less than 3 years. While it is certainly true that some of these goods can and do last longer, there is an expectation of constant wear and tear on most forms of textiles, assuming they are used for the intended purposes on a continuing basis. Durable goods are tangible goods that normally survive many uses: refrigerators, machines, machine tools, and clothing. Durable products normally require more personal selling, and services command a higher margin and require more seller guarantees. Durable goods are often subcategorized. Durable goods made for the consumer are called consumer durables. The emphasis on durable goods and consumer durables in economic statistics is founded in purchasing behavior. Spending on durable goods tend to increase during an upswing in the economic cycle. Companies tend to replace old capital equipment when profits are high. Consumers tend to replace more major household items when consumer confidence and household incomes are high. Accordingly, manufacturers of durable goods tend to be cyclical companies. Services are intangibles, inseparable, variable, and perishable products. As a result, they normally require more quality control, supplier credibility, and adaptability. Examples include haircuts, legal advice, and appliance repairs. Marketing initially developed in connection with physical products, but of recent, the increasing growth in service industries has made this aspect of marketing important. Service industries vary. It ranges from government sector with its courts, hospitals, loan agencies, military services, police, fire departments, and post office to private non-profit sectors with its museums, charities, churches in the services business. A service, according to Kotler, is any act or performance that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible and does not result in ownership of anything. Its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. Services like consumer goods can be classified using several approaches. But we need to bear in mind that while goods are testable, services are not. There are three ways of classifying services: by buyer, by seller, by form of regulation. By buyer, two major buyers are identifiable for every service. These are household buyers and industrial buyers. Recreational services purchased by individuals include everything from tennis lessons to fortune telling. Many services purchased by individuals are households in nature. For example, electricity, house painting, and insurance. The industry also requires training, transportation, and consulting services for smooth economic performance of the various sectors of the economy. By seller, there are three major groups under this classification of services. Service organization owned by private individuals or groups who share the profits or the losses. Privately owned organization not for profit, for example private schools, symphony orchestras, museums, and churches. The public owned companies, example government parastatals. By form of regulation, services may be categorized by the extent to which they are controlled by public regulations. Services can be classified by form of regulation into three classes: extensive control services. Services under this category requires the certification of the supervising body before licensing. Examples are banks and electric utilities. To provide banking services, appropriate approval must have been obtained from the central bank before the commencement of operation. Near extensive control services. Services under this category is theatre, travel agencies and hotels. The requirements for establishing them are not as tough as the banks mentioned earlier. Unregulated services. Most repair services fall under this category. Many professional practitioners like lawyers and doctors are controlled by the regulation laid down by their professional body and not by public body. Consumer goods classification. The vast array of goods consumers buy can be classified on the basis of shopping habits. We can distinguish among convenience shopping, specialty and unsought goods. The consumer usually purchases convenience goods frequently, immediately and with a minimum of effort. Examples include tobacco products, soaps and newspapers. Convenience goods can be further divided. Staples are goods consumers purchase on a regular basis. A buyer might routinely purchase Colgate toothpaste and Lay's crackers. Impulse goods are purchased without any planning or search effort. Candy bars and magazines are impulse goods. Emergency goods are purchased when a need is urgent. Umbrellas during a rainstorm, boot and shovels during the first winter snowstorm. Three classes of consumer goods are identified, namely convenience goods, shopping goods and specialty goods. Convenient goods. These refer to items that the consumer buys with minimum shopping effort. Essentially, these are goods that are habitual with the consumers. They are bought frequently but not in large quantities because they are non-durable goods. In other words, they are used-up goods. Shopping goods. These set of products are selected by the consumers based on certain yardsticks such as suitability, quality, price and style. All products that involve shopping comparison before selection fall into this category. Such goods are furniture, rugs, dresses, computers, shoes and household appliances. Before a consumer makes up his mind to buy a shopping, well, a lot of exercise must have been carried out to know the different prices of the various stores that sell the product. Specialty goods. These refer to goods for which consumers are habitually willing to make a special purchasing effort. These categories of goods possess unique characteristics or high degree of brand identification. Examples include specific brands and types of fanny foods, cars, stereo components, photographic equipments, and suits. Specialty goods do not involve buyer in making comparisons. Buyers invest time only to reach the dealer of the specialty goods.
Retailing indeed is turning into me-tailing. And as emerging economies become wealthier and lifespans in mature markets lengthen, 1 billion more me-tailers are expected to join the throng. No consumer goods company can yet claim to be a master of all three key industry trends: changing consumer behavior, changing shopping experiences, and the global surge in consumer numbers. Yet that's exactly what it will take to achieve high performance in markets shaped by consumer power. What's more, there's everything to play for as the gap between today's high performers and those just behind them shrinks. Empowered by mobile and digital technologies for unprecedented choice and instant gratification, in the United States, 50% of mobile subscribers use a smartphone. Consumers expect products tailored to individual needs that are constantly changing. More and more of them rely on peer recommendations via Facebook or Twitter. In fact, 1/4 of search results for the world's top 20 brands are linked to social media. You can't afford any longer to deal with these new consumers at arm's length, as an undifferentiated mass. Most of today's consumers live in emerging markets, and by 2030, 1.2 billion of them will be middle class, outspending their counterparts in mature markets. But emerging market consumers are even harder to reach, predict and satisfy because their cultures are so complex and their tastes are exceptionally volatile. Selling to them requires different offerings, skill sets and capabilities. Today's consumers want brands that do good, and they will shun products associated with dubious ethical practices, environmental pollution for instance, or child labor. They are often very vocal about outing manufacturers that fail to live up to their expectations, yet they don't want to pick up the bill for clean, green products. They expect you to do that. Consumers expect a continuous stream of compelling and new product innovations that do what they say and say what they do. Brands that innovate fast will be best placed to win consumer loyalty. And open innovation, soliciting the crowd, inventors, scientists, customers, consumers, and even competitors for good ideas, will boost your chances of being the first to market. What you did to achieve success yesterday or today will not make you successful tomorrow. You need skill sets and capabilities that are fundamentally different, and you need them now. There is no room for compromise. You need to act now. You need an operating model with both global reach and local relevance. A model that combines scale with intimacy to service consumers in diverse markets worldwide. And a model supported by globally integrated business services that enable continuous improvement, end-to-end and year-on-year. Your workforce is a key source of the bright ideas that drive innovation, wherever they may reside in today's globalized markets. By encouraging and rewarding them, you will enhance customer satisfaction and retention. Accenture's high-performance business research shows that the ability to use and manage talent effectively is critical to achieving sustained success. Mobile technologies will put you directly in touch with today's new consumers. These will help you communicate with them at the points of purchase when buying decisions are made. And these will help make consumers as much your agent as you are theirs, transforming them into a new and highly effective sales force. You need the right people with the right skills to turn data into actionable insights and advanced predictive analytics that can put you ahead of the game. Our cross-industry research shows that high-performance businesses are 5 times more likely to use analytics strategically than low performers. You won't win if your products aren't available on shelf, in-store or online. That's why you need a supply chain responsive to consumer pull rather than producer push. A demand-driven supply chain that will eliminate out-of-stocks, control inventory and ensure product availability.
Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Product development is the process of designing, building, operating and maintaining a good or service. The product concept is a management orientation that assumes consumer will favor those products that offer the most quality and other features for the price, and therefore produces should efforts for continuous improvement of product quality and other features of product. A product is divided into a series of different features and benefits which helps in its segmentation, targeting and positioning. Non-durable goods are tangible goods normally consumed in one or few uses, like beer and soap. Marketing initially developed in connection with physical products, but of recent the increasing growth in service industries has made this aspect of marketing important. Specialty goods have unique characteristics or brand identification for which a sufficient number of buyers are willing to make a special purchasing effort.